I believe what I'm saying is right for our country and right for all of you. I think you do want all your taxes cut because you all work very hard. You deserve to keep more of your money. I want everyone to own their own home. Of course, we can talk about the past, and we have done. But for all of you, the choice for you is who do you want to run the country for the next 5 years, right? I don't think any of you can tell me what Labour are going to do if they're in power.
Dr. Pasha, Sun's Health Secretary, someone you've met before, Sir Keir.
Nice to see you again.
Dr. Pasha, what's your question? What's your first question? I think you've got two.
Yes, I'm glad I wasn't the one to mention the word lie.
Ooh.
But it has been said in the room so far. You have said that you would rather a family member die in the NHS than have them treated privately. Now, I find this
No, I
claim...
didn't say that. I did not say that.
You did make a point, though, that you'd choose NHS care over private care.
Yeah, please, when you finish your question, but I did not say that.
I find this slightly disingenuous.
I didn't say it.
OK. Well, you said you would rather the NHS than private, and I feel like that's disingenuous because, A, you have talked about leaning into the private sector to bring down the waiting list, and B, if you're so committed to the NHS as it is, how can you be the man to bring radical reform to it?
Well, I think as we discussed last time, as you know, my wife works in the NHS. She's in one of the big London hospitals, so this is a constant discussion between us. My mum was a nurse. My sister was a nurse.
Are you the man to bring radical reform to the NHS?
Can I just correct what I did say? Because it is important that we just... I was asked whether if me or a family member was on a waiting list, I would pay to effectively jump the list and get in first for a private operation. And I said no. Because waiting lists are now, nearly 8 million. It's absolutely shocking numbers. And the idea that the person who wants to be Prime Minister of this country would say, it's my responsibility, and it will be, it's not my mess, but it'll be my responsibility to deal with it, is going to say to the nation, I will get your waiting list down, but in the meantime, I'm going to jump the queue.
Is that just because you're a politician or just a person?
No. I'll give you the example of this. I'm a very keen footballer. I still play at my age. And a few years ago, I damaged my knee. My meniscus got torn. Really, really painful. Stopped me playing. I went to the NHS. They put me on a waiting list like everybody else. And I waited my turn and had it fixed. And I'm back playing football. I'm very grateful for that. So I didn't say if one of my children was going to die. What I would say about acute care, because, I mean, you'll know this. If you're dealing with acute care, my mum was very, very ill all of her life. I spent a lot of my teenage years in high dependency units with my mum on nights we thought we were going to lose her because she was so ill. And it absolutely seared on me what the NHS did for my mum. I know, and everybody knows, that for acute cases, life-threatening cases, the NHS is the very best place to be. So much so that private hospitals, in fact, refer into the NHS at that point because the NHS has got the expertise and the facility. So no, I wouldn't jump the queue. I wouldn't say to the rest of the population, you can be on a waiting list, give me time to fix it, but I'm going to speed myself through. I'm not going to look people in the eye and say that. That's not me. If a family member was in an acute, life-threatening situation, I would want them in the NHS because I know from personal experience the NHS is absolutely the best place to be if there's a life-threatening situation. That is my genuine view on this.
Just to be clear, though, on that point, because I think it baffles some people who say, just to be clear, if going private was an option to save a loved one,
we had to go through it again, tragically, with my wife's mum in the leadership campaign, and we lost her in that particular case. I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to acute care in high dependency units. I know what it looks like, I know what it feels like, and I absolutely know it's the best place if you've got a life-threatening situation. Look, I'm not going to say to other people that's the choice that they should make, and the bigger choice, the bigger discussion that we're not really having here, which is important, is why are so many people having to now go private because they're having to wait so long on the NHS? Because the hard-working people were having to use their money, their savings, for operations which they ought to be able to get on the NHS much more quickly. It's the hidden tax in the NHS that we've got from this government. I want to end that. But my own I mean, that's my choice based on my experience, mainly on my mum, I accept, but I do know what the inside of a high dependency unit looks like.
We are running out of time, and your aides will shout at me if we go on too much.
No, they won't, Harry.
Dr. Pasha, I think you had one more quick question. Very quick. We'll keep it tight. Keep it quick.
Question. Why are you trying to make it easier for people to change or switch their gender identity without sufficient proof? And what does this say to women's spaces and protecting them and their spaces?
Women's spaces must be protected. It's very, very important. And again, when I was Chief Prosecutor, I was working with very many people who had been victims of sexual violence, and domestic violence. It was a big part of the work I was doing, and I saw for myself how important those women's spaces are, and they must be protected.
Why?
Whether it's in that area, whether it's single-sex wards or sport, that must be protected. We mustn't go down the route of self-identification, but we do need to recognise the procedure or the process at the moment is not dignified. There are some people who don't identify with the gender that they're born into. They are very distressed by that. And my rule in life is to treat everybody with respect and dignity.
Who wants Dr. Bhasha? How are you? Lovely to see you again. Sun's Health Secretary. You've got a microphone.
Yeah.
Take that one.
I think Rishi was actually phenomenal today.
Phenomenal.
He really
You've
was.
changed your tune because you were a bit sceptical of him before.
I was Team Kia all this time, and Rishi...
So you
made
literally
the
swung your vote tonight?
Yeah, and I genuinely think that I really like the way that he mentioned his grandparents, because I think he gets a lot of slack for who he's married to and how well he's done. And actually, we should look at people like him as and aspire to be like him and aspire to do better. So I actually trusted him. He was speaking in specifics rather than all fluff like Kia. So I was backing him today.